But you know, sociologists and anthropologists have looked back in history and they've tried to figure out which society first came up with marriage. When we say the Bible is true, what we don't mean is that the Bible is true for me but not for you. What we mean is that whether you believe it or not, the Bible is what? True. It's just true. It's the best account of reality that actually exists. So if the Bible teaches that marriage is like gravity, built into the fabric of the universe by God at creation, which I'm going to come back to here in just a second, then shouldn't we be able to find evidence of that in the world around us? Does that make sense? So before we go to Scripture, let me just say this. I think there's more than two, but let me give you two really compelling reasons why marriage is more like gravity than it is like a speed limit. Does that make sense? You see where I'm going here? Okay, here's the first reason. The first reason or the first compelling argument, I think, that suggests that marriage is more like a gravity than like a speed limit is, you can look back through history and you can find the first culture or the first society or the first civilization that came up with written law, that decided that the law that was going to govern the people isn't going to be just the kind of the command of the king or the emperor or the czar or the ruler, but that actually we're going to write this down. You can find which society gave us written law. You can find out which society, invented the idea of kind of a court of law, like an adjudication so that people can get justice. You can go back and you can find which culture gave us the first written language. You can find which culture gave us the first a whole lot of things. But you know, sociologists and anthropologists have looked back in history and they've tried to figure out which society first came up with marriage. Which society first came up with this idea that a man and a woman could set themselves off as an independent unit and then be responsible for the children under them, and that this would actually be a way that we order our lives together. And you know what? They can't find which society came up with it. You see marriage across human history. You see it in Christian cultures, religious cultures, cultures that kind of came out of the Jewish tradition. You see marriage in pagan cultures. You see marriage across the board. In other words, it's almost like it's always been there. Maybe because it has always been there. You can't find which society gave us marriage.